Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Let me fix myself. You never know what you look like until you get on camera, and then you got like dog hair and stuff going left and stuff going right. And we got the dogs in the background today. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Massive Iron Live. Let me turn on the fan a little bit, get some airflow going on in here. How's everybody doing? We made it to Friday, October 20th. We're almost to the Halloweeny. We're almost to Halloween. I'm going to be on as long as you guys have questions, so feel free to post up your questions. This is, for those of you new to Massive Iron Live, it's a live Q&A. Answer questions. I'm here every Friday. It's been about going on 4 years now. Hard to believe that I've been doing this. So don't feel like there's no questions that have been asked, that you can't ask. If they've been asked 1,000 times before, just let it rip, right? Don't hesitate. A few things before we get started. Number one, if your question doesn't go through, it is not me throttling you, okay? YouTube can be pretty funny at times with its comments. So if your comment doesn't show up, try shortening your comment. Try rephrasing your comment. Let me get the dog hair off here so I look prettier. That sort of thing. And honestly, you guys can come over at any time to my Instagram. I've been the barman. Slide into my DM with questions. I ask people, I tell people all the time, just hit me up on DM on Instagram. I know some people are a little bit nervous when you say that because they're afraid you're going to, try to sell them on something. I don't sell you on anything. If you need help, I'm going to help you. That's the way I've built Massive Iron. That's the way I will continue to build, Massive Iron. So anyway, how's everybody doing? How is your week? I'm a little bit exhausted. I'm in the last leg of trying to close on a home, and they're basically anybody that's been through that process knows the joy. Every day you wake up and there's always some new thing they're asking for. So I'm a little bit fatigued and ready to get that over with. But I do have a picture of my home gym. If you guys would like to see what the new home gym looks like, I got a finished picture and I'm pretty damn excited. Let me pop this up. And let me pull it up for you guys. Hold on one second. Guys, don't fight back there. That's enough. Sorry, we got the dogs in here today. Let me show you what the new home gym looks like. You ready? Let me present the screen, share screen. Where is it at? There we go. All right, so that is the new home gym. That's the new home gym. Right now it's got wood flooring down, but I'm going to be putting down, gym mats. I'm looking at that right now. But in the far back by the door, that's my little private bathroom back there, my little man cave. And I'm going to have my desk here. The gym's going to be behind it, and so on and so forth. So that's a sneaky peeky at what the new Massive Iron Man Cave headquarters is going to look like. I'm going to be painting the walls. We're going to be black and blue. We're going to be all Massive Iron. It's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to have multiple squat racks down there. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff down there so we can get to getting. This is going to be where I'm going to do, coming in the new year, I'm going to be doing filming. So I'm going to be filming down here, and I'm going to be doing exercise demonstrations. We're going to kick the content up a lot. I'm going to be doing exercise demonstrations, all kinds of crazy things down here. So I can't wait. Exciting times and a big change. I've never owned a home before, so it's a big step up for me. So anyway, before we get started, hang on, folks. Post your questions. I'm going to do a quick commercial. If you are interested in coaching, please check out the coaching tab at superlivingtoday.com. Pretty packed right now. September and October are busy month for people hopping on board with coaching. But if you're interested, always have room. There's always somebody transitioning, and I'd love to work with you. I don't just check in once a week. I'm with my clients every single day. I don't mess around with coaching. It's something that I am with you every single day. I want to build a relationship with you and help you, reach your goals. So we work together daily to evolve training, evolve programming, look at exercise form, etc. Now we have Team Massive Iron. If you want to be a part of a community, we have a very large, if not one of the largest lifting communities on the, come on guys, enough wrestling. We have one of the largest lifting communities on the worldwide interwebs. It's kind of like micro coaching as well. You can get 4 form checks a week. You can ask me questions about your program. We have daily check-ins, daily topics, a lot going on. So it's not just me answering questions. It's a big community with a lot going on. So let's get rolling. Let's dive into things. Let me kick up the air here a little bit. I think it's supposed to get warmer in here today. Where are we at? We are live. Let me just type that in so I know when I can. Live starts now. All right. What do we got? Now, remember, if you post a question before live starts each week, you get a chance to win a free shirt, hoodie, whey creatine, or Team Massive membership. Stein, how's it going? Stein, welcome to the party. Tim, happy Friday. Tim says, do you think there is value in actively controlling the... No. You don't want to overly control the pendlay row. That's a good way to beat up the lower back. You want to just kind of there are a few lifts that you don't want to overbake the eccentrics, and pendlay rows and barbell rows are certainly those types of lifts, along with the deadlift. You want to do the lift, you want to power the lift, but you don't want to overly control the lift, because there's a couple things going on here. Number one, guys, hey, enough. Sorry. We have a mosh pit going on back here. Hey, enough. Chill. Sorry, we have a mosh pit going on back here. You're going to get pretty strong on these, and in the position you're at, lowering them, it's just not going to be a good position for your lower back. Now, there are some people that can control it a little bit more than others, but let's be real here. Most of us are struggling or will struggle with lower back issues when it comes to training. So we have to be really, we have to treat our lower back with a lot of care, and we have to be smart about how we approach training when it comes to lower back punishment. So not a big fan of controlled eccentrics at all on deadlifts or barbell or pendlay rows. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I hope you can respect this, but any voice on the internet that pushes this doesn't coach for a living, doesn't have hands-on coaching, because if they did, they would know how much this beats up the lower back of the average trainee like you guys. So I'm telling you that not to put myself on some high horse as a coach. It's just reality. One of the biggest things I manage as a coach, a muscle and strength building coach, is the lower back health of my clients, and just ask them. I'm always monitoring their lower back health, peppering them with questions probably weekly, to the point where I probably get a little bit annoying. But you do not want to overbake the eccentric. You always want the eccentric to be reasonable relative to the lift. Now, on a lat pull down, yes, you want control. On a seated cable row, yes, you want control, right? You want control on these lifts, on the eccentric. You don't want to purposely slow them to the point where you're like, good grief, get it over with. But you want to control it up. You want to get more out of that set. But you just do not want to overbake the eccentrics. LV King, morning coach. What do you think of pre-exhaust as a tool? No, you can't reduce warm-ups on compounds by pre-exhausting. It doesn't work that way. You still have to do your warm-up sets, because your warm-up sets for compounds, we're not warming up the body. Okay. It's a fair question. So I hope you don't think I'm being critical, but we're not warming up the body, right? We're ramping up our central nervous system, and doing a few sets of leg extensions is not getting your connective tissue in the groove. It's not warming up your central nervous system for squats. It's not. You need to do ramping escalated warm-up sets that will help awaken your central nervous system. Your central nervous system just doesn't wake up out of the box on a workout and it's all of a sudden recruiting maximal amount of muscle fibers. The body is efficient. It's not going to just recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers because you did 1 or 2 sets of leg extensions, right? It doesn't work like that. You need to do normal warm-ups and compounds. And I know it'll stretch out your workouts a little bit, but guys, it's the name of the game. You get strong, you're going to need more warm-up sets. That's just the way it is if you want to stay healthy. So it's not a tool, not at all. You can never reduce warm-up sets on compounds. That's a fool's game, a good way to get injured. Yvonne, good morning. Have to miss today. I'm traveling. Sorry to hear that, but safe travels. Rico, what's going on, Rico? Good afternoon, massive family. And David, how's it going, David? I think it's been a while, but glad to see you. Maybe I'm wrong. If a person has decent genetics, whatever that is, and I'm not being dismissive of your question, but we'll just let it hang like that. Good nutrition. Okay, let's say somebody's not really poor genetics, right? They're not really in mediocre shape, right? They're not like some caricature out of the Revenge of the Nerds. They have good nutrition, sleep recovery. Would it make a difference if he trains using an intense full? No, it doesn't matter how you train. It simply doesn't matter. What you want to do is train in a way that can optimize your number of quality sets per week. So that's your first and foremost priority. Your first and foremost priority is, in the massive iron world, we talk about 72 hard sets per week as a starting point, or about 18 hard sets per workout 4 times a week. That's a rough starting point. That doesn't mean you need to work out 4 times a week. Okay, you could work out 3 times a week, every other day. Do what you need to do, but that's a starting point, right? So we're at about 72 hard sets a week, and about 4 workouts a week is going to keep you in the gym a reasonable amount of time. So how you get those in, it doesn't matter. You're doing the same weekly volume. And I can't repeat this enough, and it's not just opinion. A year or 2 years ago, there was a meta-analysis of some of the full body or frequency studies. And what they found was that the reason, listen to this, it's important. The reason that frequency studies trended towards better, slightly better results, slightly better, not majorly better, not aggressively better. All right, guys, enough. Sorry. The reason why frequency training trended towards slightly better results was because when they looked at all of these frequency programs, they had more weekly volume than the splits. Okay. So what they found out is when volume was equated, when you had the same amount of volume, whatever your frequency was, you had the same amount of volume weekly, the results were almost exactly the same, literally the same. So it does not matter how you train. And I will go to my grave trying to wake up folks on this point. You want to train frequency, go ahead. Most of my clients train frequency. Most of them train with an upper posterior or whatever. It doesn't literally matter. Train the way that you like to train, but don't feel pressure to train some way because you think you're going to get better results out of it. Better results are good nutrition, hard training, good sleep, progressive overload, a wise exercise selection, and a recovery or frequency that you enjoy. Tim, can getting super amped up for sets? There are some people, I'm not smirking at your question. I'm smirking. Guys, enough. Hey, stop what you're doing back there. You're getting a little bit funky. Stop it. They're back there humping. Sorry, we're really out of control today. Everybody's a spaz. Can getting super amped up for sets be negative? There are some guys out there that make it seem like you can't rage train. I'm not encouraging rage training. That you can't like be fired up. It's like they act like you're gonna fade out, or you're gonna fade away, or you're whatever. I find this stuff to be so reductionist. How do you say it? Such a reductionist level of epic bullshit, right? Train how you want to train. I like training aggressively. I like training amped up. I've heard people say it's not sustainable. Well, I've fucking done it for 38 years, guys. I literally have. That's the way I like to train. Is every one of my workouts like some epic monster energy session? Hell no. Heck no. But I like those workouts where I'm really in the groove. I like training like this. Whenever we get this chatter on social media or from these YouTube celeries, why amped up training is reducing your gains. Like, shut the fuck up. Literally, shut the fuck up. I'm sure it's making you a few bucks in your YouTube bank, and that's great. Have fun with your couple of YouTube pennies, but it's not true. It's not true. It's not. You're not going to half-ass sets because you're amped up. I'm still able to focus. When I had to go into squatting over 600 pounds multiple times a week, I had to be in the zone. But it's like going into war. Like, you're going to have 600, 640 pounds on your back multiple times a week in a basement gym with no spotters. You have to be focused. Like, being focused and amped up are not mutually exclusive. It's not like you can't be focused and amped up. I was both. I was like pegged at both. I was super focused and super amped up, and the music was cranked and we were getting after it, right? There's no huge fatigue cost, Tim. It's just made up fairy tale nonsense. What is the huge fatigue cost? A set's going to fatigue you how it's going to fatigue you, right? If anything, getting the adrenaline going and being amped up, is just going to maybe help you a little bit. Tim, I'm going to be honest. You're just creating some construct that doesn't exist in reality. You're really black and whiting this one. Like, you are framing things like being super amped up will cause you to half-ass set. You said not saying the half-ass sets. There's not a huge fatigue cost. I don't know where you came up with that. Maybe you watched a video. What would it? I haven't found a huge fatigue cost in 38 years of training like this, right? On the other hand, when I train like some limp dick noodle fucking average gym trainer that looks like he could read a book and take a nap in between sets, excuse my honesty here, folks, but like, what is that guy getting out of his training? If anything, when I work with somebody, I want to see their fire. I want to see their passion. Where's your passion for this stuff, right? So there's no huge fatigue cost, with being amped up. Literally no one runs around. Maybe one guy, right? Runs around like every set, like, sniffing ammonia and like stomping around the gym. There might be one or two guys like that, but they're they're whatever. They're kind of built that way, so. And no, it's not hard to replicate consistency. Like, you are framing things like, if you're amped up, somehow it reduces energy and reduces production from the muscles. The muscles are going to do what the muscles do. I've said many, many times on this channel, fuck your feelings. How you feel is a lot. Whether you feel amped up, whether you feel dead, it doesn't matter. You can still outperform however you think you feel. So don't overthink this stuff. Whatever you feel in the moment, go for it. Passion is more important than laying down and being some limp dick, wet noodle son of a bitch. It is. Whatever you feel like in that set, do it. Some sets I need to be amped up because I'm about to dumbbell bench 150 pounds, and shit, this is hard. I need a little bit. I need to dig a little bit deeper. All right. Sorry, we're getting fired up today. Sorry, guys. A little bit too much cussing, and we're off to a fast start, so I apologize. If we take two, no, guys, get over this stuff. Get over it. Get long beyond it. If we take two people, I'm not making fun of you, David, but this is an endless common question. If we take two people with similar genetics and recovery, which one's going to get better gains? None of them. Over the period of 5 or 10 years, it does not fucking matter. Neither of them are going to get better gains. You're trying to chase. Here's the problem, David. You are trying to find a magic solution. Okay? And I'm telling you this because I care. Right now, you're trying to, you're in the program hopping mentality, right? Your brain is like, I just need to unlock the puzzle for magic secrets. I need to unlock the puzzle of magic gains, right? David, fuck your frequency training and fuck your body part splits. If you want to unlock the magic secret, then continue to watch the channel, because it is progressive overload is consistency. It's consistency in nutrition. It's nailing your form, and it's passion, and it's getting in the gym, having a plan, hard training, trying to progress safely over last time. Your fucking program doesn't fucking matter. Fuck your program. You are locked into this looking for a magic thing, looking for a magic exercise, looking for a magic frequency. And I say this because I care. You are in the toxic zone, my friend. You are in the toxic zone. You're in that zone looking for, if I take two guys with equal genetics and one does leg press and one does hack squats and one does squats, which one's going to see? Who the fuck knows? Because it's a fairy tale. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. It doesn't fucking matter. The guy that's going to see the best results is going to gird up his big, juicy motherfucking testicles, get in the gym for 10 straight fucking years and crush the iron. That's the guy that's going to see the biggest progression. It's not some guy sitting at home going, if I just calculate the proper frequency and the proper exercise selection, and I come up with this great matrix of bullshit. That's fantasy world bullshit that can't make up for what really matters. And I'm telling you guys because I care. Whew. I'm telling you guys because I care. If you find yourself trying to analyze what is the better split, if we take two guys with equal genetics and we put them on this split and that split, which one's going to see better results? I'm telling you guys, over the course of 10 years, it does not fucking matter. It does not matter. It does not matter over the course of 10 years, because no one's going to use the same fucking split for 10 straight years, the same damn exercises. Training is about this. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have valleys and peaks. You're going to have times when you can only train twice a week. And you're going to have times when you can train 5 days a week. And you're going to have times when you train twice a week and feel beat up. And you're going to have times when you train 5 days a week and feel like motherfucking King Kong, right? And there's times when you squat and it just rolls on, you're progressing every week. And there's times when you squat and, man, you can't get through 2 months without getting injured. Training is a long haul. No 2 months are the same. So creating these little fantasy world constructs is not real world. Your program doesn't matter. What exercises you do doesn't matter. It's much bigger than that, guys. It's much bigger than that, much bigger. Consistency, nailing your nutrition, having a reasonable exercise selection at that given time. Well, what if I can't do squats now? Am I going to lose all gains? No, the body is not that fragile. Do leg press, do hack squats, do leg extensions, do Bulgarian split squats, do whatever you can. But the mindset is, I'm going to go into the gym and I'm going to rip shit up. I'm going to go into the gym and I'm going to make this set count. I'm going to make this workout count. I'm going to make this week count. It doesn't, you have to equip yourself like a fucking warrior. Like, you have to have the mindset. You literally have to have the mindset. I don't give a shit what the split is. I don't give a shit what my limitations or exercise selection is. I'm going to go into the gym and I am going to fucking war. Whether you do so peacefully on some Zen ass plane or whether you are just kicking it in the balls, right, with high energy, your split doesn't matter. As long as you have a reasonable exercise selection, it doesn't matter. Don't start to go down this fairy tale world where if you just unlock all the secret pieces and align them, right? This isn't some fucking fantasy movie, right? This isn't Indiana Jones. If you just unlock the puzzle, the glowing light appears and you win the quest. It's not like that. This is, I am going to be a warrior and I'm going to forget the things, my limitations, and I'm going to get in the gym and I'm going to rip shit up. I'm going to make this set count. What does that mean? Figure it out. I'm going to make this set count. I'm going to get everything I can out of this set, and I'm going to get everything I can out of this workout, and then I'm going to maximize training. That has nothing to do with splits over the course of 10 years. All right. Tim, doing my shrugs on a plate-loaded shrugs. I'm just thinking about all the comments I'm going to get about the F-bombs and stuff. I do it every week. I'm like, don't do it. Don't swear. Sorry, guys. I get a little bit. This stuff matters to me because your results matter to me, and just excuse. I'll try to be a little bit more zen. Doing my shrugs on a plate-loaded shrug machine. Would you face in or out for shrugs? Doesn't matter. If anybody's seen one of these plate-loaded shrug machines that kind of angle down, whatever feels better for you. Whatever feels better for you on shrugs and RDLs. That's really about it. I wish I could overcomplicate things, but every piece of machinery, every cable station, and every gym feels different. It really, really does. So just use your best judgment and what gives you the best feel. Barbell Bryce, morning team massive. How's it going? But I see Alan Thrall and Dr. Mike recommend doing the shrugs facing out to allow the traps to pull up and back. That's fine. Try it. I mean, if the thing I have to say is if someone recommends pulling up and back, pull up and back. Give it a try. See what you think. I will tell you, this is just my personal experience because I've run into this question a lot before. I don't find I ever need to pull up and back. Okay. Yes, the mechanics might indicate that that's how the muscles might best work. But I have found in the gym, as long as I'm getting quality tension and powering up on my shrugs, that action alone is plenty for me. So try both, do both, use both tools. In the massive iron world, when we come across a split in the road, which says, do we do inclines or we do bench? The answer is usually both. When you come to a cross in the road, like, should I pull up and back on some shrugs or should I do power shrugs straight up? Do both. Do them hard and just see what happens. Jeff, considering your last video on fulking, well, cutting, is there a concern for cutting? No. And I'll explain this. It's a very common question. So when it comes to cutting, the fears are that you're going to lose too much muscle when you're cutting too rapidly. They're going to get small. Look, first off, outside of starving, we don't want to starve ourselves. We want to fuel ourselves with micronutrients to a reasonable degree. There's a way to manipulate a cut to maximize micronutrient intake while we're minimizing calories, and I'll explain that a little bit. But when you enter a cut, if you're training relatively normally, it's very, very hard to lose muscle. The body's just not going to give up the muscle you earned because you're continuing to train, right? There's no, like, it's not like you stop training. It's like, okay, I don't need this muscle. You're still trying to do the same thing. So really, even on an aggressive cut, I've had clients do aggressive cuts and, they look amazing. Now, do we know for a fact they haven't lost 2 pounds of muscle? 2 ounces of muscle? No. But here's the wonderful thing. Number one, a cut is temporary. Okay. It's not going to last forever. And number two, muscle memory is a very real thing. So yes, you're going to feel glycogen depleted during a cut. You're probably going to feel weaker. That's normal. You can't expect to feel full capacity when you don't have full energy intake. So you're probably going to feel less energy, less glycogen in the muscles. You're probably going to feel weaker, especially on some of your presses. That doesn't mean you're losing all your muscle. Even if you did lose all your muscle, it would come back once you start bulking. That's the way muscle memory works. In reality, what's happening is we're losing basically nothing because this isn't a long-term cut. It's just a quick short-term cut. And we're losing basically nothing. Even if we lose anything, it's very trivial, and it'll come right back on a bulk. Once you fortify a muscle cell, you build it up, all the extra mitochondria and all the extra things going on in that muscle cell. It's not like they go away. They might go away over 15 years if you stop lifting for 15 years. I don't know. But in the short term, they do not. So it's like putting an addition on a home. You can build an addition on your home. If you move out all the furniture temporarily, the addition's still there. It might be emptier, not used to full capacity. But when you return, that capacity is still there. Does that make sense? Now, I mentioned maximizing micronutrients on a cut. How do you do that? How do you make sure you get as many nutrients as you can on a cut? Number one, you try to reduce your fat intake to about 20%. This is not a rule. It's a general guideline. Fat has 9 calories per gram. So by reducing fat to about 20%, we need it for skin and brain function, etc. But by reducing fat intake, we allow room for more food volume. Okay. Now, we're going to increase our protein levels to about 40% if we can get there. This is going to require you to focus on leaner cuts of meat and protein sources, less fat. And these leaner cuts of meat are going to allow you to eat more. So basically, if you reduce fat to about 20%, raise protein, focus on lean proteins, raise that to about 40%, then you're going to get in a lot of quality lean protein, more food volume from your protein because you're eating less fat with it. You're going to be eating a lot more plant-based food volume because if you're eating fast food or junk food, it's going to have higher fat levels. So by lowering your fat down to 20%, you're almost forcing yourself to eat more fruits and vegetables just by default. Does that make sense? And you're going to get in more nutrients from your plant-based and animal-based. So that's just a good thing. Max, do unilateral exercises always go at the end? No. That's an arbitrary rule, and they can go wherever you want. Sometimes there's been periods where I would do squats and then I would superset them with a unilateral, like alternating lunges. Sometimes I would do squats and then I would do kind of a lower tier exercise, less intense exercise, like leg extensions or lunges, and then I'd move to leg press. it doesn't really matter. It's more the big picture and that you're focused on progressive overload, if that makes sense. Barbell Bryce. How would you teach rows directly after deadlifts? I'll do penalties, but I'm still trying to limit gym noise. We got two things going on here. We got gym noise, which is an issue you're going to have to sort through. And I like doing barbell rows after deadlifts because, number one, you just did heavy work and you're stripping plates, so the weight is going to seem relatively lighter. So I like doing barbell rows after deadlifts. As far as the teaching point, I'm not specifically sure what your question is. I mean, from a pragmatic standpoint, you simply move from one lift to the next. So if there's something you're saying torso angle grip with a barbell row, I start with my deadlift stance, and then I usually move it out just a little bit further, just like an inch. So I like to have a little bit wider base in my deadlift stance. And I don't go super wide on my grip. I keep it pretty natural. Once I have my stance, I keep it pretty natural. I don't focus on where it compares to my deadlift grip. I just want it in a natural pulling position once I have my legs set. Does that make sense? Torso angle when you're doing penalties, you have your shoulders. Let's see if I can, and you have your hips. The hips need to be just a little bit below the shoulders. You don't want to be level when you're trying to penalty row because you're hanging out over the bar. Too much of your weight is forward on that penalty row, and that'll just place less stress on your lower back. So you want your hips slightly lower than your shoulders on a penalty row, if that makes sense. Raphael, good morning. Big Zack Barker, still losing weight. Are they? No, I don't have abs yet. Losing a little bit of weight, gaining a little bit of weight, losing a little bit of weight. Like my fluctuations are like this, very minor. It's been a crazy year. Overall, I am down at least 30 pounds this year. I still have some ways to go, but it's really, for me, been just a crazy year. We've tried to sell our home. That was an endless shenanigan, a lot of stress. And we had to move into here. And then we decided to build a home. And it's just been a long year, man. A long year. My priorities are my clients, Team Massive, and this Massive Iron Live. These are my priorities, and social media, like Instagram questions. So once I'm done with that, at the end of the day, after you deal with that, your normal workload, and you have to deal with all the stuff that comes from trying to sell a house, trying to buy a house. Wow, yesterday alone, I had a request for the title of the sale of the last property I was in. So I had to go down to the title company, drive down there, get it, wait for them to go find it, come back, send that, have the loan officer that's doing my loan come back and forth like all day long with 5 different questions. That stuff just eats up so much of your day, and it's so stressful. You end up getting done with work at like 8:00, and you're like, oh, right. Not from work, not from doing this stuff, but just that stuff interfering with your day. I had originally planned to bulk 6 months and gain 10 pounds. Okay. I've gained 8 as of this morning. I don't want to cut during the holidays. If you're a little bit over on your bulk, it's not a big deal. I mean, you are not, your goal was to gain 10. You're at 8. This is a common scenario. A hair more aggressive. A hair more aggressive is okay on a bulk. If you were sitting here right now with the goal to add 10 pounds and you were up 18, then we would probably pull you into the back closet of Massive Iron and say, what do we got going on here? What can we fix? What's causing you to fat bulk? But if we only have like 2 months left, I would aim to gain another 3 to 4 pounds. That's not a game changing difference. So this is our new dog.
Did you introduce Bluey?
You locked them in here and they proceed to hump each other, bite each other's ass, scream and fight. I had to yell like 5 times during the video.
Oh, he needs a little nap.
Yeah, this guy's a trouble starter.
He's not. He's little funky.
Can you see his color? He's kind of blue-gray.
You can see him.
He hates me.
He doesn't hate you.
There's Chi-Chi right there, my buddy boy.
I think Baba needs to go on a diet.
This guy doesn't like me at all.
I've got to put Baba.
Let me see if I can get him to do this. Watch.
Look, he's waggling.
Hold on, watch. Oh, he was doing this thing.
Look, Baba's going, hi, Dad. Hi, Blue.
If you've never owned a dachshund, one thing you'll get used to is a lot of tongue action.
Big Bobby, I'm going to have to take him on some treadmill things.
This is our new guy.
Oh, my God, Big Bobby.
This is our new guy, Mr. Blue. If you see him, if you look, he's got weird brown spots. He got brown eyebrows.
He's got little blue eyes.
So he got brown and gray.
And bluey eyes. And he's mommy's little baby. Are you mommy's
Indeed.
boy? Yay!
All right, back to work.
Back
to work.
Oh, here's Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi gets all crispy. Chi-Chi got fatter.
All right, this is Chi-Chi.
That was Chi-Chi.
All right, thank you. I really
Say
got
hi,
I got
Chi-Chi.
8,000 questions.
Okay. Oh, big old Chi-Chi.
I'm being polite to my wife.
Really, come here. Wait, boys.
All right. What are some good sources for us to educate people as to why weightlifting is? I don't know, man. I mean, it's a good question, but it's just common knowledge. I don't even know where to begin. Like if you search in the lifting community, the lifting experts, lifting and health, they will all agree that resistance training is not just great for functional living, being stronger, bone density. It's good for your metabolism. There's no downsides. I mean, there's just a world of information out there. I don't know that there's a specific resource, but the thing you get into is you get people that act irrational about certain forms of exercise because they really they just don't want to do it, right? So they just make up this nonsense. So I don't know, Zach. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. I'm sure there's some good centralized areas. I'm so used to looking at other one-off studies, that come by in the lifting community that I don't really know where to find a good centralized resource for this. Various diet myths. Good luck, my friend. I mean, this is a reality. You look at one diet. Like let's say you take the carnivore diet. Now, I'm not saying the carnivore diet is the be-all, end-all, but compared to the average diet from the average American or Australian or Brit or whatever, it's better, right? You're not eating crap all day long. Look at veganism. If done right, meaning somebody knows how to eat in structure and not just eating vegan fake foods, can it be healthy compared to the average diet? I would certainly say so, right? Intermittent fasting, can it be done right? Healthier than the average American diet? Absolutely. Frequent feeding, whatever diet you want to throw out, right? Most of them that involve animal and plant-based foods are Solid, right? Solid. So if you want to educate people on diet myths, there's so many diet myths. So many diet myths. I don't even know where to begin. If you put out the truth is, if you have one website that addresses diet myths, you're going to start 10,000 wars with somebody that disagrees on one point. Discussion is good, right? But we are so oversaturated with discussion that we have lost the inability to agree on the basics. And I'm going to tell you what I think is the key, and feel free to attack me. But I think a general reduction in processed food, fast food, junk food, and drinks with calories, things with sugar, flour, fried food, deep fried foods, and excess of crap oils. A reduction, not abstinence. We don't have to be monks. And getting in probably somewhere roughly about 80% of your weekly calories from animal and plant-based foods, good nutrient-dense foods. That includes nuts, seeds, dairy. A lot of great nutrients in dairy. How do you educate people on eating reasonable? It really depends on the person. Trying to reach somebody is like trying to become an evangelical. You're trying to reach them where they're at, right? And you can plant seeds in their life, but you can't force somebody to believe something. You can't. People generally don't want to be educated. People generally know. See if you guys agree with me. People generally know what they need to do. I need to eat better. If you go up to if you went to the mall today, Walmart, and you just sat out front and you gave people like a $10 gift certificate for answering a question. And you just simply asked them, what do I need? What do you need to do to improve your health? What eating habits, exercise habit mistakes are you making? Those people, likely as a collection, would provide you with rock solid information, probably with less debates and just, they'd have some myths. I'm going to do a cleanse and do a lime and garlic cleanse and do a coffee enema. There'd be some wacky crap out there, right? But as a whole, I think most of them know they need to eat better and move more, right? I really do. So I think most people have a baseline understanding of that. They get tripped up in more not moving to a new lifestyle. It's a temporary diet, then we go back to the old lifestyle. So the biggest thing we can educate people on is that health is a lifestyle. It's not a temporary fat loss plan. Make sense? Tim, do you ever find personally for yourself after many bulks that there's a certain body weight that's really hard for your body to push? I've seen set points happen for various random reasons in my life. Like it's hard to lose. Sometimes it was hard to lose weight beyond a certain point. And it sounds crazy, but sometimes you just seem like you hit a set point. After I lost 100 pounds, my diet got loose by about 20%. I drank a few beers a week. I would have cheesecake when I wanted. I wasn't a slob. I hiked a lot on the weekends, but my body weight just stayed around the same area for like 4 years. And I never monitored anything. So I don't know. There's some set points I've run into that are harder, just seem harder to build past or even lose past. The body can sometimes be far more complex than just a math formula for building and losing. And I can tell you that for certain, as a coach, so you just still have to make adjustments. John, does training 3 times a week versus 4 times a week over a span of 5 years? Not much. But the thing, I've got into this earlier during my rant. I've never met anybody that just trained 3 times a week for 5 years. I've never met anybody that only trained 4 times a week over 5 years. In fact, 95% of my clients in the last 3 years, last 3 months, there's been variance in their training. So I'm not trying to be dismissive of your question, but this is kind of fairy tale world questions, right? We're trying to shake out magic, combinations. And it's completely sucks the life out of reality. Reality isn't this. This is theoretical. The truth is, if you train hard over a long period of time and you do all the right things, it's going to even out after 5, 6, 7 years. Because naturally, you can't get as big as Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman. So there's an end line, soft, hard, whatever you want to say it. And the closer we get, the slower gains become. That's just a reality. If you start rapid, things kind of slow a little bit getting towards the end line. If you start slow, you have some ability to speed up, and then it's going to slow down again. So don't worry about these things. You need to worry about what you can do and doing it hard. I put a pretty bad question in a YouTube video. Yari, I'm saying this with respect, my friend. I have 3,000 videos. Like, you're asking me to go in the middle of YouTube Live and hunt down a needle in a haystack. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find it here. Comments. I'll search your name. Now YouTube, in the middle of a live video, is asking me to verify that it's me trying to log in. Hold on. This is what we get. Now I have to verify on my phone it's me. Yes, it's me. There's the number. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, so right in the middle of a live. I don't see the last thing I see is Steve is one of my biggest role models. Thank you. But you can't be that lumpy with 30% fat and say, I know what to do, maybe with less than 20% fat, but not now. Steve is one of my biggest role models. Thank you. But you can't be that lumpy with 30% fat. I don't know what you mean, lumpy. What do you mean, lumpy? I don't know what you're trying to say. You can't be that lumpy with 30% fat and say, I know what to do. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, my friend. All right. Do you think the Olympic lifts can be? Not a big fan of that. Just not. Olympic lifts, anything can build strength and muscle, right? But some Olympic variations can be more focused for hypertrophy. Definitely. Like I like to do high pulls. I think they're good for shoulders. But we're taking a very specific lift and we're trying to mold it into a hypertrophy specific lift. Yes, progressive overload is going to get you bigger and stronger, but it doesn't mean that it's as good as convention. There's a reason we have convention. If a lot of the Olympic lifts were as impactful, meaning we have a certain amount of hours to spend in the gym, right? We want to do the best, make the best use of that time. So it's not that Olympic lifts or weird lifts like Zerchers or whatever aren't bad lifts. It's just that there's better uses of our time for hypertrophy in that period of time. Does that make sense? These are more technical lifts, and you have to get pretty technical at them. You're going to get strong while you're doing so, but while you're building up that level of technique refinement, you're going to put a lot of time and investment into that. John, after 1 year of lifting as a beginner, where should your compounds? If you took somebody, all right, let me get a drink here. All right. If you took somebody, a group of 10 guys, let me train them from day one, Ross from scratch beginners. And I trained them for a year and they did everything I said. Where would I want them to be? Probably 225 bench, 275 squat. I don't know. It's hard to say, but in those ranges, if we're training hard and eating properly, that's where I'd want them to be after a year. Doc, been a while. Work was crazy. Happy to be back. Team Massive all the way. Thank you, sir. This is a great resource that everyone should be signing up for. That's teammassiveiron.com. And thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Doc is meticulous about sending form videos, which I appreciate. That shows me that he is serious about refining form and serious about health, because a big aspect of lifting, and one that so many folks tend to kind of minimize, is exercise form. It's just kind of minimized. People assume they have good form. Even on things like lat pull downs or seated cable rows, most people that send me their videos need work. They're not focused, they're rough, they're fast, they're loose. So if for no other reason than to get some general form direction on your lifts, Team Massive Iron. Mike, morning. Why do some people say they can't gain weight? In my opinion, just from my experience, look, I deal with guys like that are hesitant to gain weight. You have some guys that have lost a lot of weight that fear getting fat. You have some guys that are on the leaner side that if they have one big meal, they feel bloated. So you have some degree of fear of gaining weight. And then you have some people that say they can't gain weight. Anybody that says they can't gain weight, it's like the same as people that say they can't lose weight. Number one, if you ask them to track calories, they're not making the appropriate effort. There are certainly people I work with that have super high metabolisms. I have multiple people that I work with right now that need to eat well over 4,000 calories a day, and some of them are real slow gainers. We have a couple on Team Massive, and you know what? I'm not pounding on them. I mean, you starting to eat like 4,600 calories and you're not gaining weight, that's a lot of food, and I get it, right? So that's an extreme case, but it does exist. The average individual is not tracking and adjusting. That's the bottom line. For me, I feel that I can just add so many things than I used to eat when I was overweight. And it does happen easily because you're focused, right? You have a baseline. These guys generally do not have a baseline. They're eating a lot less than they think on a few times a week. If training 3 times a week and don't want a dedicated leg day, what programs are there besides full body? Upper posterior is a good starting point. With the upper posterior, and there's a couple others I'll explain. You have 4 workouts. You have upper A, posterior A, upper B, posterior B. So you go upper, posterior, upper, posterior. Upper is chest, shoulders, and arms. And you can find this at my website, superlivingtoday.com. Okay. Just search posterior, upper, posterior, or on this channel. So an upper posterior and posterior is legs and back. You can rotate between these 4 workouts over the course of 3 days. So week 1, you could do upper A, posterior, upper B. Week 2, you could do posterior B, upper A, posterior A. Does that make sense? So you rotate between the 4 workouts 3 days a week. So you're still getting in frequency. You're hitting each body part 1.5 times per week. Excuse me. Now, a variation of that is the torso limbs split. And excuse me, torso limbs is basically limbs, arms and legs one day, and the next day, chest, shoulders, back. So you can do arms and legs A, limbs A, chest, shoulders, and back A, arms and legs B, chest, shoulders, and back B. So you can rotate those 4 workouts over 3 days, and that's your best bet. All right, and DM me if you need more information, if you can't find these programs. I got to figure out where we are. What are indicators that you should change things in your program? Changing things in your program comes down to what's happening in the gym. Intuitive. I don't like 10 reps on Barbell Rose. I feel like my cardiovascular level is getting taxed more than the muscles. Reduce them down to 8. I'm not very good at pull-ups, but I still want to do pull-ups. Reduce pull-ups down to 2 sets or even 1 per week and just add another work. Instead of changing things, we're looking at evolving things. Does that make sense? We still want a well-rounded program. We want a quality, well-rounded program, but there is freedom in this construct to evolve things, okay? I like pendley rows. I'm not saying me, but I'm saying in general. Say you like pendley rows, but you decide you want to also play with dumbbell rows. You could alternate pendley rows 1 week, dumbbell rows the next, kind of an A-B setup. So here we're evolving our programming rather than doing wholesale changes. Do you need wholesale changes to your program? Not really. I mean, if you end a 3 or 4 month phase and you want to try a different set and rep scheme on bench, go ahead. It's okay to try new things, right? Joy. On your Instagram, you said you found this genius plan, lose 50 pounds in 2 months. Oh, I'm joking. No, I'm not joking. It was on Facebook ads. It was 100% on Facebook ads. There was an ad that came up. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. Hold on. Let me pull up the old Instagram of joyousness and see if I can find that Insta story. Where am I at? Boom, boom. Okay, I'll pause it. Let me break it down here. And I'm going to share this with you guys. I was being facetious. I was being a smart ass. Let me share the screen here. So last night I'm sitting in bed, right? And I see this thing. And an ad pops up. How to lose. It's from a Moody sponsored ad. Learn to manage body inflammation and weight with the Moody plan. How to lose 50 pounds in 2 months. So it doesn't, this was the ad. It doesn't actually show you how to lose 50 pounds. It just says lose a pound a day, right? Oh, that sounds easy. On day 5, just stay in steady weight, right? Like on day 11, you're down 10 pounds. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. So I was making fun of it. That's all. All right, where are we?
Stuck with the boys again.
Because it's Friday, would you crush a workout today or just do it tomorrow? I stick to my plan. Friday is just another day. Really depends on what your social life preferences are. But I legitimately, for most of us, Friday is just another day. I like going to the gym on Friday because it's usually dead, but I don't always have time to do it. So, guys, enough, please. How I view it though isn't how you have to view it. The working world is like, oh, it's Blue Jeans Friday. I like to lift on Friday. I like to lift on Saturday. I like to lift on Sunday. I like to lift, during times when not a lot of people are there. It's I don't worry about any of this. It's just what your schedule is. Big JP, what am I doing wrong when I'm feeling my trap? Nothing, guys. Traps are part of overheads, right? You're moving your traps up. You're doing nothing wrong. We have to stop, and I'm being polite here, but we have to stop trying to turn compound movements into isolations where I only feel my shoulders. It's a compound movement. It's okay to feel different muscle groups. That's the way compounds work. I made a video about growing big traps, and one of the keys was heavy overhead presses, right? So you can't not feel your triceps on a bench press. Triceps are involved in a bench press. We don't want to turn a compound movement into isolation movement. That's bodybuilding silliness, right? That's what we want. We want to use a good selection of exercises and have it hit different areas. This is exactly what we want. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing everything right. We want to hit every muscle group from every possible angle of attack in every exercise we can. We are so infatuated with frequency training, hitting a muscle group multiple times per week. But my goodness, if one exercise crosses over and you can feel one muscle that you didn't expect, people have heart attacks. They shouldn't. They should embrace that. That's what we want. If you feel traps on an overhead press, odds are your traps are weak. And that's a good thing because they're getting stronger if you're feeling them and getting sore. I feel my forearms on curls. What can I do? Get stronger. That's a good sign you're growing your forearms. Barbell, do you count conventional deadlifts? No. Deadlifts are kind of a deadlifts are kind of a unicorn lift, even though they can be very upper back centric, trap centric. I don't really count them. I count them as additional back work because they're more back focused than anything. Do you meal prep for your week? I have a pretty simple structure for my week. I have a very simple eating structure. Breakfast is eggs and some veg like tomatoes or mushrooms, or it can be Greek yogurt and frozen berries. So I keep it fluid, whatever I want. Pretty much the same for lunch. I keep my meals pretty quick and easy during the day. I don't need a lot of meal prep. During the day before dinner, it's Greek yogurt, regular, flavored, berries, eggs, really, really simple stuff. Nothing heavy, usually 300 calories per meal. I don't eat a lot. I only eat like 2 meals before dinner. And then dinner, I eat the same thing. I generally eat ground bison or ground venison with instant potatoes or boiling a bag of rice. Literally, I cook every night. It takes me like 20 minutes. I add in whatever veg I want. And that's about it. I might have a snack later in the night, minor snack, but I don't really need the meal prep since all my meals are just like quick and dirty and on the fly. And if I want like eggs, I just go down and you can crack open 4 eggs and put them in the microwave and stir them every minute, if you don't want to get a pan dirty. Steve Jr., Buddy BHUD, any news on the app? Can you show screens? Every Sunday, me and the developer have a phone conversation. We're getting closer to beta. This is going to be a tracking app for serious lifters, right? This isn't going to be any general fitness app, how to track my 20 burpees, like all these lame general fitness app. I call them lame because they're just nothing I care about. But we are working on an app, been working on an app. It's getting close to beta. And I don't want to let anything out, right? I don't want anybody out there with time and resources with the training app right now to say, hey, they're doing this, let's implement this before they release. Nope. So Team Massive members are going to have access to beta. If you want to join Team Massive Iron, there's another reason to join. But no, I will not show screenshots. And during the beta, no one will be allowed to share anything as well. Hypothetically speaking, how much could one gain on working out twice a week in 2 years? Y'all know I love hypotheticals. You can gain a lot. The general consensus is that if everything was perfect, and it never is, you could theoretically gain 16 pounds of muscle your first year of lifting. Most people would be lucky to gain 8 to 10 pounds their first year of lifting. So if you are rocking it and a fresh noob, you could expect 6, 7, 8 pounds a year for the first 2 years. You train hard on 2 days a week, you're going to make a lot of quality progress, probably more than the average person in the gym. What is one person you would like to do a video collab with? Good question. Truthfully, this might sound a little bit weird, but I'm over it, right? I want to do my thing, get my content out, and I really have no interest in collaborating. It's not like I want to be antisocial. I just, there's a lot of people I respect in the community, a lot of people that I like, but over the years of doing this, I brought some people into my circle, and it just, right now, I just want to focus on me and my content, to be honest with you. When bulking, do you eat the same calories every day? I eat within a range. You don't want to go under towards maintenance, right? You don't want to be on the maintenance. Like some guys want to think they can go lower on lighter days and higher on heavier days. You want to keep pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you need a little extra bump on leg days, that's fine, but just make sure the rest of the days of the week you're eating to grow. Rick, happy Friday. Eric, I'm going to give you a Massive Iron t-shirt, hoodie, whey, or creatine. So hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman or email me benthebarman@gmail.com. And I'm going to hook up Steve Jr. as well. My current 4-day split is chest, tries, back, biceps, shoulders, legs. Do you have any suggestions? What I typically do in that scenario is add in an extra bench session on shoulder days. So I'll do your military or seated overhead press. And then I'll do a bench variation. A lot of times my guys will do the 5, 10, 10, 20, but I would do an extra bench session after shoulders because we have to prioritize shoulders. And if you're going to do one extra squat session, you're better off squeezing it in on back. So that's the best way to do it. Have you ever tried a cambered bar bench? Nope. If not, have you considered getting one? Nope. I have nothing against it. I just like straight bar benching. I just like dumbbell benching. I like the cambered bar. I really have no interest in. I don't really think it's generally a good idea because the lower your elbows and shoulders go, the more stress you're placing on your shoulders on the bench. And I think it's a little bit gimmicky and unnecessary. We don't need to increased shoulder pressure. I think there's far better variations and usages of our time in the gym when it comes to bench press strength. Is it possible to gain 10 pounds but not get bigger in size? Yeah, fat people do it every week. Right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not mocking obese people, but yeah, I mean, if you're training and not making any progress in your lifts, if you're not pushing for progressive overload, if you're just more in the maintaining stage, a lot of people think they're pushing, but they're not pushing hard enough. That's not a dig, that's just a reality. But it's definitely possible not to gain much size. But you have to trust the process and hit progressive overload, and you will gain size over time. Have you ever thought about doing a Spartan race? Yeah, I've done obstacle course races before. Me and the wife have. We did about 4 or 5. One of them, it was the day after a heavy rain. The water in the swamp was literally above the old nipple level. Yeah, I've done it before. I don't care for them because the this might sound a little bit silly, but number one, there's so many people there. I prefer doing trail runs. Trail runs are like obstacle runs because you have nature, right? You have all kinds of things you don't expect. I find them more engaging than hopping over a log or bullshit like that. No offense to anybody that does that stuff. I don't even know if they have in Spartan races these days. But, going to them with all the people and the obstacles, you see a lot of untrained people doing these things. I see injuries. I don't know. Just not my favorite experience. No offense to anybody else that enjoys them. Not my favorite experience. Sign, is there a lot of nice hikes? I live in Ohio, and Ohio is brilliant for hiking, my friend. We have a trail that actually goes around the entire state, for starters. Massive. We have so many wonderful hiking spots in Ohio. It's extremely rich in hiking. One of the best states in the country by far. And we have run and hiked so much of it. So much of it. It's ridiculous. How much weight has to be on the bar for it to actually bend? It depends on the bar. Good question. But it depends on the quality of the bar. You can start to see it on some bars at 400, some bars at 5. I've bent a few bars in my day, not on purpose, just because they were weaker bars and you're using heavier weight than they really wanted. So some bars are weighted 500, some are weighted 1,000. I've had a bar that was weighted 1,200, and I think the massive iron bars or the massive bars are rated 1,500. So some of them are just a little harder to bend. Do you think that training full body 3 times a week would lead to more gains over a 6-month period, or what a body part split? Listened to my rant earlier. Please rewind and listen to my rant. It doesn't matter. It's the rage, but it's a lot of voodoo and misguided and fantasy, whatever works for you. You're not going to see, over a long period of time, you're not going to see better gains on any program. You're not almost there. That's true. Can you explain the meaning of that phrase? Sure. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Let me see if I can find the clip. So hold on just for a couple of seconds. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up. Not almost there. We were filming. Let me just pull it up. I'm gonna let you guys watch a video. We were filming a documentary, 96 hours, and it got kind of hijacked by COVID. I got half of the documentary out or edited, and in one of the scenes, uh, I just said something. You're not almost there. You're not almost there, and it just kind of became the tagline. So I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play for you. Let me mute this ad, and I'll play for you the entire trailer and the piece that says. Let me just make sure we're there. Make sure we can hear it. This was a teaser on the original early TV. Hold on. You're not almost there. We'll see it at the end.
This is no joke.
Hold on. You're not almost there.
I'm beat. Really lack of sleep last night in the Airbnb. I'm gonna stop complaining. I just keep telling myself, well, I don't tell myself it's almost over. What I really tell myself is it's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. Because you know what? That's what endurance racing is. You're not almost there.
Fuck yeah, you're not almost there. I mean, you want to know what it's like to run for 12 hours? I did a 52-hour run for my birthday. You literally are telling yourself it's not almost there. Suck it up, right? You aren't even close to being done. When the pain hits, when the cramps hit, when you're hallucinating, your brain's fighting, the only thing you can tell yourself is you're not almost there. You're not almost there. That's where it came from. It wasn't scripted. It just kind of came out. On Barbell Rose, when you get to above 225 pounds, I sway more. Excuse me. I'd have to see it. You don't want to have a lot of torso sway. A lot of times when you're driving the elbows back, it's some sloppiness that needs to be focused. You could be using more weight than you can power in a controlled manner. So I'd have to see a video. Eric, what's the most awkward question you got on a live? I don't know, man. That is a good question. We've had some weird ones, occasional troll stuff, but nothing really. I don't know. I really don't. I can't recall. There's been some funny ones that didn't make sense, but I can't think of anything offhand. Sorry, man. What do you notice on Team Massive as differences between people from other countries? We have a pretty broad spectrum in the Massive Iron world. We have the UK crew. We have folks from Scotland, and we have Tim. Are you from Singapore, Hong Kong? I can't remember, Tim. I'm sorry. We have folks from all over. We're all over Europe and Canada and Australia. I don't really notice the differences as much as I notice the commonalities. I think in my years of doing YouTube and in my years of doing this and in my years of running for our forums, I think the biggest thing I notice is the commonalities. And I think that's been a wonderful addition to my life. Because when you're young and naive, you tend to view people from other countries as so much different than you. And yeah, we have different cultures and different holidays and different celebrations. But part of the fun for me is seeing not only the similarities, but being able to kind of peek into the culture of other folks and get to learn a little bit about it from their perspective indirectly. Like, we don't get into these elaborate conversations, but like today we were talking about on Team Massive, like Halloween is becoming more commercial in the UK. And then I was mentioning in America, it's almost as popular as Christmas. People love Halloween in America in general. And Steve Jr., I'll just hop into the end here, said Europeans don't understand long drives. American culture is like, for me and my wife will drive 4 or 5 hours on the weekend, just driving around, seeing things, hitting a restaurant, going into Cincinnati, doing stuff. And it's no big deal, for us to spend 4 hours in the car on the weekend, 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes we'll go to an antique shop, hour and 15 minutes away, just to browse around. That's one thing I love about my culture, and that we kind of take for granted, is we like to get on the horse and ride, my friend. We do. It's just part of something we enjoy. Where are we? I'm trying to find where we were on the questions. I got a little bit on a whack. Here we go. We already got that one. Update on the app beta coming soon. That's about all I have. This Joy Pass said live starts now, and then I said live starts now. If you, Mark, how's it going, Mark? If you can do pull-ups, is it like a must-have exercise in your program? No, there are no must-haves. A pull-up is a vertical pull, okay? So vertical pull, you have pull-ups, you have neutral grip pull-ups, you have variations like banded pull-ups and assisted pull-ups, you have lat pull-downs, you have narrow grip lat pull-downs, you have things that can kind of mimic it, like lat prayers or reverse grip lat pull-downs. Nothing is a must-have. I haven't done a pull-up in 25 years or so. So it's definitely not a must-have. Joy, good to see you. How's your sleep been this week? My sleep has been rocky at best, just with doing all the nonsense, we're in the last couple of weeks of closing on our house. So just a lot of random nonsense. And just, you get in the stress and you're trying to sleep, but how's the new pup behaving? New pup's back there by the door. My wife is really attached to it. My wife is super attached, and the new pup is attached to her. And when she's gone and I am trying to catch the dog to take it outside, good luck. Good luck. It just doesn't happen. The dog's a little bit nervous about me, but it absolutely loves her. It'll come around, though. They all get kind of used to us both, and they attach to both. But the thing with these guys is they with the dachshunds, they always have their human. Like Buddy Boy's my human, or I'm Buddy Boy's human. Buddy Boy, there he is back there, black and white. Come here, Chichi. Come here, buddy. Buddy Boy is my buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. He follows me around. He wants to be by me. Come here, buddy. Come here. They haven't seen you this week. This is my guy. He follows me around. He has to be where I am. He has to be close. When he hears my voice on the live, he runs into the room. He's getting a little bit bigger. This is Buddy Boy. And my wife started calling him Chi-Chi, and we call him Chi-Chi. We call him Chi-Chi, but he's a good boy. He's my buddy. I need to hop back on Team Massive. I fell off for a while. Please do. There are a lot of people that come and go on Team Massive, but man, we always love more communications, more interaction. Can you please shout out some Team Massive member who are on the right track? We have a lot of folks on the right track. Tim, who's always here early, Carnivore Barbell on here, or Barbell Beauty or Beauty Barbell. Sorry, I forgot what it is on Instagram. Man, so many people on Team Massive are getting after it. A lot of my clients are on there as well. Just a lot of good progress. I saw your fulking and unbulking. Why is 10 pounds in 3 months not fulking? Fulking is more getting to the point where you have to unwind something that becomes a major pain. Like we want to stay within shouting distance of a quick cut. So 10 pounds is a good goal. Now, 10 pounds is not something we necessarily aim for. It's just like an upper ceiling. So it's not fulking. I mean, 10 pounds in 3 months or a 3-month phase. If somebody wants to do a 3-month bulk of 10 pounds and then a quick 3-month or 3-week mini cut and repeat the cycle, they're going to be in a bulk over 9 months out of the year. And that's the way you have to look at it. Fat bulking is when you bulk so aggressively that you spend an inordinate amount of time during the year having the cut. Does that make sense? I don't have a workout buddy, but all of a sudden it seems to be super important. I guess Dr. Mike says it is, but I'll tell you what, workout buddies to me are a pain in the ass. You guys let me know what you think. You really want to wait on somebody to show up? I'm over it, man. If you're going to want to work out with me, you better be lock, stocked, and in control. Your shot group better be tight. You better be showing up early, ready to go, smelling clean and fresh. No ass, no armpits, no stanky breath, no excuses about your drinking habits. You better be ready to lock it in, right? I don't have time for that. I really don't. I want to go when I want to go, and I want to go when I want to go in between sets. I don't want to hear about your wife. I don't want to hear about your dogs, not during my workout. I don't want to hear about jack shit. I don't want to hear about the sports. I don't want to hear about the new car you bought. I don't want to hear about the growth on your testicle. I don't want to hear about any damn thing. Go die after my workout's done, right? That's the mindset. So I don't really care for it. There can be some value in a workout buddy, but it's not for me. Mike, how to warm up for pull-ups? Good question. I mean, usually if I'm doing a pull-up, it's later in a back workout, like a second or third exercise, usually a third or fourth exercise. So my back and my biceps feel pretty warm. Now, if you're doing an upper posterior, that might not be the case, or some other splits, that might not be the case. So you might, excuse me, you might want to do some quick lat pull downs or maybe some assisted pull-ups real quick. That would probably be the best bet. Steve, any new t-shirts released? Still working on my book. It's a long haul, but we'll get it done. T-shirts, there's a lot of t-shirts over at superlivingtoday.com. Just search the apparel tab. We got a lot of stuff over there. You're getting big, buddy. You're putting on some weight. Dan, what's going on, Daniel? Big Tim, pretty much maxed out my gym's leg extensions. Any technique modifications you suggest? I would probably, Tim, move it to a finisher and then either do a run the rack, run the stack where you go up and down as a finisher, or do like a 2-minute block where you get into kind of the Tom Platz zone and do some fancy schmancy stuff like that. But I'd probably move it to a finisher level. If you like the design Born to Be Massive, would you print it on a doggy sweaters? I think I can do doggy sweaters on my shop, but I'll have to check. Is it okay to twist the dumbbells inside at the top of a dumbbell bench? Just let it flow naturally. I mean, if you're doing a dumbbell bench and you want to twist it, go ahead. Is it going to provide any additional benefit? No. Maybe you can feel your chesticles or triceps better when you rotate. That's fine. Assuming 3 people did everything the same for 7 years, one bottom 10%, one average, and one top 10%. What's the gap in muscle? Who knows? No idea. I mean, I'm not being dismissive, but nobody can answer this. And there's no people like this. You know, there's no people like this. What genetics are they lacking? You know, the genetics that lack the most is the mental fortitude to actually get to the gym and do what you need to do. So I don't like theoreticals like this. And I appreciate the question, but, this is just all, it's like cosplay for lifting. Let's dress up as and play pretend. Who knows? All I care about in my world is doing what you can do and doing it hard, right? We're trying to move pieces around the puzzle to speculate and figure out if we have poor genetics or average genetics. All I know is if you kill it over 7 years, you're going to see a lot of progress. Can I replace a bench press with seated press machine? Doing push-ups for pre-exhaustion. Well, you need a dumbbell or barbell press in your weekly repertoire. You do. Machines are great. Push-ups are okay, but I'd program that stuff for some of my clients, but you need big hitters. You can't just do machines. Unless you have a medical condition. Chris, taking a day off from work. That sounds like a good idea. Hoping to get a quick workout in today, but I have some farm work yet to do. Stay sane and hope the weather is with you, cooperates with you. What you doing, buddy? He's all snuggled in. Great rant today. Thank you. Can I superset barbell shrugs? Did I get this question from you? Somebody sent me this question. Was that you? I'm not going after you here, man. I just don't understand why. Why would you superset 2 muscle groups with something? How are you're doing a barbell shrug and then you're going to superset a rope push down? What's the point, really? Of all the things you can do in the gym, and I'm saying this with respect, this is rather pointless. If you're going to do a barbell shrug, superset it with something that kicks your traps in the balls. If you're going to do a rope push down, superset it with something that's going to kick your triceps hard. That one guy running from machine to the next with chains around his neck, rapping. Yeah. That's probably epic to view in the gym. If identical twins, if 2 monkeys crossed the road at 12:21 a.m., one was in red shorts and one was in yellow, one was listening to rap and one was listening to metal, one had eaten a burrito 2 hours early and one had eaten a burrito 1 hour and 45 minutes earlier. One had 1.74 hours of rest the previous day. The other one had 1.43 hours of rest before the previous day. All right, if identical twins start training, but one trains in the 4th, this is fantasy world stuff, guys. This is nonsense world. No one trains like this. Not being dismissive, but there's no value in addressing questions like this because no one trains like this. Don't know if you're interested, but are you into rugby? I do watch some rugby. I did watch some rugby on an aberrant. I'm sorry if I sound disrespectful, but there's just no value in theoreticals that no one trains like that. I do watch rugby. I did watch some last year or this year, late in the season on what was it on? Peacock has it on. So did the season start over there again? American rugby sucks. I have the American rugby app, and it's like watching a high school football game. The camera work just rotten, right? I wish it was a little bit better, but it doesn't seem as popular in America. So yeah, I was watching. What is it? The Premiership? What do they call it in the UK? Sorry for my ignorance, but I did watch about 10 games last year. I like Team Massive a lot, but sometimes all the information gets me confused. I appreciate it, John, but that's the nature of a community. I want the community to grow big, and I can't make the community small, um, and more manageable. You just got to pick those spots that you want to interact. I appreciate you being on there, but the chats are just chat, come in and go out. They're nothing serious. The other information, the threads, just pick your spots, man, where you want to get involved. It's, the thing I would encourage you to is kind of look at it as a tool for help. Where can I help you? And then beyond that, poke around some of the threads and see if there's anything that interests you and any conversations that interest you. Barbell Bryce, when performing power sets as prescribed in Power Muscle Burn Black Bulldozer, do you still recommend treating them like straight sets? You can. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can do the last set 7+ reps. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can try to move them from 4-4-4 to 6-6-6, and then move up in weight, and then try to get all of them 6-6-6. That's kind of probably the way I used to do it. What is your ideal character in Dungeons and Dragons? Whenever I play fantasy games, I played Asheron's Call, which was a online game. I played like games like Skyrim, things like that. I like to be a meat shield. I just like to bash and bonk, right? I've done some of the magic stuff. Magic kind of bores me a little bit. I'm a bash and bonker. I'm a meat shield. I don't mind whipping out a bow every now and then, but I like getting in the fray and just beating people over the head. Not a sword guy. Give me a mace. Give me a club. Give me give me a hand-to-hand, whatever you want. Paul, happy Friday. Thanks, Paul, for joining in. Eric, missing my massive Friday live white purple monster today. That's not good. We all need extra to be extra caffeinated. I'm getting back to working out. Should I be aiming to push myself as normal? If you're getting back in the gym, you need to take some time to acclimate. After I had COVID, after I was out for over 3 or 4 months, I started at bare minimum weight, and it took me 3 or 4 months to ramp back up. So I'm not saying that's necessarily the case for you, but just be smart. How fast and how long can I cut that muscle loss doesn't become a problem? Well, how much weight do you have to lose? It's kind of the question. I mean, if it's just a normal cut, you won't have to worry about muscle loss. If you have to lose 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds, you need to be worried about getting that weight off and not about muscle. Get the weight off and then worry about muscle. Do you have a favorite exercise for strengthening your lower back? No, I don't like direct lower back work personally. I think the lower back gets enough direct work from squats, deads, RDLs, etc. If I were to do anything, it would probably be 2 to 3 sets of back extensions, or you can find a back extension station in your gym, and you can do glute ham raises on the back extension. So you're doing hams and lower back at the same time. You bet, man. Thank you. I almost lost my voice. Can someone in their 50s still have the same? I would say be nice. Be nice. Be nice.
No.
Be nice. That's just my mom.
The little boy.
I have a lot of guys working with me in their 50s that look great. So It's going to depend on the individual, but I think they can get pretty darn close. Um, within a few pounds. I've never seen somebody start fresh over 50. Most guys I know that come to me over 50 have lifted their whole life. So it's really an interesting situation. But look, let's be real here. I mean, guys that come fresh at age 50, a 50-year-old is going to have a history of self-abuse to some degree, dietary. Maybe they were a factory worker for a long time. There might be things in the mix that prevent them from training with the same intensity they had, when they were younger. So there's such a broad spectrum of possibilities. But if you give me somebody that's working hard, I think they can get at least 90%. Joy, what's your favorite pizza? Marco's Pizza. What I do is I'll take a Marco's, get a thin crust small, and I'll get pepperoni. I'll get old world pepperoni. I'll get Italian sausage. I'll get bacon and steak, and I'll get jalapenos and red onions. That's what I go for. When doing squats, do I push my butt back and then squat? What you think about to help you is driving your butt straight down while letting your knees open. Okay. Doesn't matter if knees go forward. If your knees are going forward, you need to get your knees open. You want to think about butt down, knees open. When you do a front squat, your knees naturally open. When we do a back squat, we kind of like, we kind of clench up a little bit or have a tendency to clench up. So when you squat, don't think about butt back, squat down. Think about from the start, driving your butt straight down while letting your knees come open. Does that make sense? Could you say, if muscle soreness lasts longer than X days, you are over? No. That's just arbitrary. Every muscle group is going to be a little bit different. You're not overtraining. If anything, if you get really, really sore, you've been undertraining, or you're just a rank noob that moved on to normal training and it's just experiencing normal soreness. Overtraining, if you do something really ridiculous to the point where you're, like when I would go out and run a 50K, was I overtrained? Yeah. Did I need a couple of days off? Yeah. I'm right back at it. Usually I was running 2 days later. So, don't worry about the overtraining thing. The bigger concern for most of us is undertraining. What would you recommend for warm-up sets? Jeff, there's a video with a free PDF, and there's and I'll show it to you guys. Hold on a second. I'll show you guys how to find it on the Massive Iron channel. If you go over to the main page of the old Massive Iron channel. Okay, ready? I'm going to present the screen, share screen. I'm going to show you guys how to find it. Okay. So here we are at the main page of the old Massive Iron channel. I'm going to show you how to warm up. You go to the search and you search warm up and how to warm up properly, complete guide and PDF chart. Let me mute this so I don't get blasted from YouTube. We'll just wait for this lovely ad to get done. If you search for this video, and let me get the question off here so you can see how to warm up properly for big compound movements. There is a PDF in the video and a chart in the video as well. So it goes over everything. And Jeff, if you need me to send you that PDF, please let me know. I'll forward it to you. Over all the years you've been training, do you have a favorite style? Yep, I love the simple 4-day split. I like chest and triceps, back and biceps, shoulders and traps, and legs. Always my favorite to this day. I have a pain in my forearm or doing curls. It depends on what the pain is. Is it just stress from working, or is it an incredibly sharp pain? We have to differentiate, what type of pain we're talking about. So I would need to know more information. But if it's a sharp pain that's preventing you from working properly, you definitely need to rest and or deload until it feels better. How to improve strength and push press. Consistent calorie intake is going to be an essential for any of your presses. And doing enough tricep work where you are really challenging the triceps is going to be beneficial as well. Those are the biggest two things that can help. How do you handle a bad, stressful day? I've been having a lot lately this year closing, trying to deal with this housing situation. How do I deal with it? A lot of bitching to myself, that's for sure. I think at the end of the day, a lot of it is fight back. I have to really push back to take care of myself. It can be hard when you're going through a lot of stress, but I think the key is to force yourself to eat reasonably well and force yourself to continue to exercise to keep some degree of stability or routine in your life. That'll kind of center you a little bit. Neo, how's it going, Neo? Neo's a client of mine. Good to see you on board. Croissants. No. I hate white sugar, white flour pastries. Forget that. If you're young and it's part of 20% of your calorie intake, go ahead. I don't personally I'm a type 2. I don't really handle that stuff well. So I'd prefer something a little bit more complex, carby, or fruits, bananas, grape, berries, Greek yogurts, eggs, oatmeal, goat meal, whatever. I'm not a fan of pastries. Uzman, what if I am someone who likes going to the gym 6 days a week? That's fine. As long as your program's structured properly and you can recover, that's absolutely fine. Steve Jr., if they are almond, I approve. He said not pastries. Or croissants. Never knew almond croissants were a thing. I didn't either. So now I'm not a big croissant guy, but I'd like to taste them now that we've been teased. Exercises that hit the adductors optimally if squats aren't an option in the home gym. I'm going to say this out of respect, but if you can't do squats at a home gym, there's really not a lot you can do at a home gym. You can do Bulgarian split squats. You can do lunges. There is a way to work abductors lying on your side. And I don't know if I can find the exercises here in a quick second. Let me just check here on you can kind of lay on your side and put one foot on the bench. Let me see if I can find this and share it with you guys. I was trying to do a Google search. I didn't make the exercise look really, really silly. If you have a bench or a chair or something, you can do this. Hold on. I almost got it pulled up. Half of live is saying, hold on. I almost have this pulled up. Oh, here we go. So you can kind of do this. You can maybe even add a little bit of weight, ankle weight or something. I'm sure you could find a way to do resistance. You could do it standing and use a band and pull together. So that's what I would do. You have to get creative, but that's what I would do. Steve Jr., have you ever kicked off anyone from Team Massive? Yes, I have. I've kicked one person off of Team Massive. What did they do? Well, we had somebody. We generally don't do politics or religious discussions. And here's what happened, okay? And just keep your guns holstered, okay? Don't come at me. It's a complex situation. It's not an easy situation. So this is what happened. My wife was looking at moving to a YMCA. She has a YMCA membership. And the YMCA that she wanted to move, because we're moving house, had an issue with a man that would sit in the ladies' restroom, and he said he nude, just sit on the bench, and said he associated as a woman. Okay, so don't come at me. I don't know anything about this man. I don't know anything about anything. I'm not judging him. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but I do know that my wife did not want to be my wife. This is her. She did not want to be in a locker room with a man sitting there with his dick and balls hanging off. Okay, is what it is. A lot of other women didn't either. Complex situation. I know it's 2023. I'm not getting into all the political crap, but I'm telling you why the member got kicked out. So I was expressing just the scenario. And somebody came at me with a long 72-page DM about how I was the devil for posting this political story. Like, it's not a political story. This is my life and a decision, something my wife is facing. So they came at me, basically, you know, you've been a huge source of motivation, but I can't believe you. And like, what did I do? I talked about my life, a situation my wife was facing. It's a complex situation. What are you going to do, right? So I don't like people that just can't remain rational. Let's discuss this like adults, right? Let's find a solution that makes everybody happy. Let's not be, reactionary bitches, right? It's a complex situation. So anyway, I'm a fatty going up and down, okay, on the weight loss roller coaster. I've gone from same measurements but gained and lost, even lost in measurements but gained up to 10 kilos. So I'm just seeing if there is a question. So you're going up and down. I'd like to know more information, to be honest with you, because I don't like to see anybody struggle. And I do like to kind of see what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve and where you stumble and what you're struggling with. I don't know what your current weight is. I don't know your age, so I'd like to learn more. If you can DM me on Instagram at Ben the Barman, or email me benthebarman@gmail.com, or just post up a question here. Post some more information. I'll be glad to help. Steve Jr., Europeans don't understand long drives. We tackled that. 5 hours and I'm Russian. I'm in Russia. Yeah, you guys drive 5 hours and you're in Russia. I mean, we'll drive up to Dayton and we'll drive down to Cincinnati all in a day. Happy Friday. Watch Monday Night Football. I see where your body double is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Who's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know if this is an insult or flattery. So let's see if I just got slammed or Mike McCarthy. Is he still the coach of the Cowboys? Y'all saying I look like Mike McCarthy. You ain't getting anything for Christmas, Horn Frog. I'm Swedish, and I think 2 hours is a long drive. Yeah, it's just different in cultures. We get on that horse and ride. 1 hour is long, and my back gets sore. Yeah, we're conditioned to it. Do you think homemade mac and cheese is healthy? Well, it's healthier. I mean, obviously, there's degrees here. Uh, it's healthier. You're able to control the cheese and the milk and the whipped cream. The heavy cream is good stuff. I mean, you still got some white flour in the mix, but Big Matt Williams, how often can you hit Tricepticons? Look at weekly volume. I would hit them every other day at most. Every other day at most, and you have to make sure they're recovering properly. You want to make sure they're recovered before your big presses. Okay, so I'm going to quick jump ahead. Tammy, a new client of mine, you're personally responsible for helping me love lifting again. Thank you. That was such a huge compliment, Tammy. Thank you. You're such a superstar. You're so full of energy and so full of life. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. You're like just a ball of positive energy. All right, where were we at? Let's see. I lost track of where we were. We'll get back. We'll get back fast. Pizza, pain in my forearms, almond croissants. Here we go. Do you have more info on the Europe tour? I will after I'm coming to. I'm traveling next year. Just going to see some people. I just want to see some people, right? Want to get out there, interact. And I will be, after I officially close on my home and can make some plans for next year, I will be letting people know. I will be coming to England. I will be coming to Scotland. I might be doing multiple locations in England. I'm definitely going to see a Tottenham game, right? And I'll be kind of traipsing around. I'm a couple days in each location. And if I can get over, like the Norway and Sweden and things like that, I will. So I will have more plans once the new year is done and I can actually, nail down some dates. Dan, welcome to Massive Hypothetical Math Problems Live. Right. I look, the hypotheticals, guys, I really honestly appreciate all the questions. But at the end of the day, when we're doing hypotheticals, the key thing is I do not really feel that hypotheticals solve real world problems. There's usually a deeper question or a deeper fear in a hypothetical, right? Mike, any advice for being tactful and strategic with morbidly obese friends or relatives? That's a really good question. I mean, we have our love for them in one degree or another, depending on how close we are, and we care about them. The honest truth is we have to understand the cards we actually can play. Usually it's seed planting. We have to live by example and not obnoxiously so. So if it's a friend or a relative, trying to encourage them to use a form of activity they enjoy is a good thing. You have to kind of sit and wait for the topics of nutrition and exercise to show themselves. They have to almost play the cards, or we have to be extremely strategic. And if they show themselves, we have to use that as an opportunity. Like someone will say, I wish I could go to the gym, but I don't have time. We have to kind of find ways to open doors or create opportunities without being obnoxious, right? So It's tough, man. I mean, my philosophy is just love people, right? It's hard to change people. It's hard. One of the biggest things we can do is be an inspiration, be a hero in our own life. That changes more people than we think, or inspires more people than we think. Is it going to inspire or change the people we really love? Probably not. But the greatest service we can do for another human being is just love them. Uh, be there for them. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what their struggles are. Yes, some people have irrational excuses, but if they ask you a question, then you have to use it as an opportunity to plant a seed. People ask me all the time, how do you lose weight? I just found the simple thing I say is I found swaps that were healthier for foods I like. What do you mean? Well, like pizza. Crust is bad. Okay, now they have it in their head, crust is bad. Well, what did you do? I got the pizza bowl instead. Just meat and cheese. Is it the healthiest option? No. Is it a better choice? Yes. But you planted a seed and you gave them an option, right? I like to drive. I'm long-term driving. I'm eating too much when I'm driving. I eat grapes. Eat grapes? Yeah, it takes a while to eat them. It can take you like an hour and a half to eat 400 calories of grapes, right? It makes you work compared to a candy bar, and you kind of get full. I don't know. Tough thing, Mike. I wanted to superset shrugs and triceps at the same time. I mean, we're trying to save time by supersetting things that don't, I think there's a better way to do it. We're getting into general conditioning level here when we're trying to squeeze things in. You're better off at the end of your last deadlift set with doing a max rep set of shrugs and then power shrugs. You know what I'm saying? My close friend does train like that. He literally only does 4 to 6 rep. Okay. He's not going to do it for the next 10 years. With the new app, can we share our logs with you? The new app, we're really going to be expanding features. So there's going to be a social aspect to the app. Our main priority is nailing the in-gym tracking. Okay. We want that nailed. We want it to be the best in-gym workout tracker, because if we don't have that foundation down, then we're just another crap app, right? So from there, once we have that nailed, we're going to add features like social sharing. That's going to be behind a paywall. Don't panic. Basic tracking is going to be free. If you want the social components of the app, and that's to keep out trolls and nonsense and spam. How many times you're on social media and you get tired of spam, right? So you pay a couple, $2, $3, you get access to the social part of the app. You can share with a coach. You can hook up with a coach, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that'll be part of the deal. I'm thinking of stopping high bar squats and replacing with low bar squats. If I do leg press lunges that's a good exercise mix. The low bar can be tricky because some people tend to fold more and they end up going too wide. So you just really have to treat low bar like a unique beast, and you really have to nail your form. So just be smart, get some form assessment. Is assessing body fat on a flex physique a different skill? Yeah, I mean, a flex or pump physique can hide some of the body fat. So I prefer to see things that are unflexed. It'll show you the belly area, the man boob area better, and that's a truer assessment. My car windows tend to fog up on rainy weather. Any tips? Yes. What I do when I have rainy weather is I and fog is I don't drive. Next question. I don't know. What's going on, massive family? What's going on? How much should I cut? I'm on a 10 pounds and 3 month bulk, and I want to move up in weight. You're on the leaner side, and that's not a dig, my friend. That's just I'd like to see where you're at, but you could literally do a long-term bulk over 2 years before you need to worry about cutting. You could hit 200. You could even hit 210 over 2-3 years. You are in a position to do a nice long-term bulk. If you wanted to do an occasional 5-pound mini cut, 10-pound mini cut in the mix, go right ahead. But you're in a position to really nail it. Big Chris, how far would you drive for some really good cheese? Kroger, 20 minutes down the road. There's so much good cheese, man. I don't really have to drive far. But depend on it. The cheese better be better than that for me to drive more than 20 minutes. 6'3", 165. You shouldn't cut it all. Good day. Sorry I'm late. Thanks for joining in, man. Glad you are here. Thoughts on the 2-pack case being solved? You know what? I am so disconnected. I didn't even know there was a case. I heard the news, but Mike McCarthy, it's a slam. That's all right. We ain't going to give him a Christmas present. All right, we have 7 questions left, guys. If you have any questions, get them in now. Last call. Get them in now. We have about 10 minutes left. Last call. I have a left bicepticon strain. Would you still train the right bicepticon? I would do what I could, yeah. No real downsides. But just let that sucker heal. I still want to get in the gym and do some magics. How have you become a Tottenham fan? Last year, I realized, after the World Cup, I actually started to understand soccer a little bit. So, being curious, see that Tottenham mug? Being curious, I found I've always been a sports fanatic to a degree. I don't obsess and watch all the games. I'll watch a game here and there when I have time. And growing up, I got to see Australian rules football and a lot of unique sports on ESPN. So I started watching on Peacock station. I said they have Premier League soccer and they have rugby league as well. And I picked a team, right? Because I think one of the best ways to get involved into a sport is to pick a team. So I watched a bunch of games and I kind of gravitated towards Tottenham because I like Son, the Korean player. I mean, they had Harry Kane. Harry Kane was good, but I wasn't a really big Harry Kane fan. But I liked Richarlison. I liked all the different players on Tottenham. I got to know their names. Other than no offense to, no dig at Harry Kane. He wasn't my favorite player, but I just got to know, Tottenham. And I watched probably half their games last year. And wow, this year they just raged out of the gate. Son's just playing amazing. Just fun to watch. I know there was some controversy with, with one of their losses. I get it. Try not to get too wrapped up in controversy, but for about a year now, I'm a big fan of FC Cincinnati here locally, and they have an amazing team. So I'm just in a wonderful position to see a lot of great soccer right now. FC Cincinnati has Acosta, who is just an amazing player. Just an amazing player. If you never seen him play. He's just a wizard. Just a really good sense of where other members are on the field. So I get to watch Tottenham and FC Cincinnati. I get some really good soccer. Matt, you need to come to the UK. I'll definitely be coming to the UK. I want to get over there, meet some people. I'm going to be doing some traveling in the US as well. Steven Seagal made music. Did you know that? Yes. Don't listen, though. More tier list videos coming. Absolutely. Let me know what you'd like. Barbell Bryce, what do you think has been the biggest shift in training philosophy since you started? In my philosophy or in the industry? I'll answer both. In the industry, it really was the growing obsession that frequency is king, to the point where we've lost our focus on hard training as king. And it's a shame, because we sent people down an avenue that really is misguided, right? The biggest shift in my training philosophy in the last 15 years is less of a reliance on squats and deadlifts for beginners until they get their form down. We really want to work on form. You just see too many of I was one of the, I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm elevating myself, but I was very much against minimal type of programs like starting strength and strong lifts a long time ago. And when I rail against them and rage against them, there's so much pushback. But I don't think they're great for hypertrophy, especially for lifters in their first few years. They're not hypertrophy programs. And people will say strong lift is not, it's a strength building program. No, it's not, folks. Back in the day, I was there when he first started pushing his stuff. Strong Lifts lifted it up as the ultimate hypertrophy program, and that is still on his website today. It's just that people lose track of that. People lost track of that. And in my opinion, it's the worst program, worst mainstream program. I stand by that. You can get results on anything if your form is good, but it's still the worst program for a beginner novice. So that's been the biggest shift. Could I bulk up to 210? You know, you go from 165, you're getting 45 pounds in 2 years. That would be okay. Yeah, but then I would I would assess and maybe do a 10 to 15 pound mini cut. What happened to Supplement Engineer? He hasn't been on in quite a long time. It was a really weird situation. I had a lot of respect for him, tried to help him out a lot. And we were working together on a supplement line. We had an Instagram for the supplement line, and then one day he was just off social media, and I didn't know what was going on. And I basically said, "Hey, I need you on social media to answer questions. You're the supplement expert." And I'm not going to get into a long, boring story, but he planted his flag in, I'm not going to be on the social media, and I have too much going on myself to pretend like I'm a supplement expert. So we parted ways. God bless him. Do you think slingshots have a good purpose? I mean, they're a good tool. They can be a good tool. I started using one after 20 years of lifting because I wanted a little bit of shoulder support. They can provide overload. And I think they're a good tool. If you are new to one, you could use one every other week just to kind of break into things. But yeah, I think they can help focus your bench. They can provide a little bit of overload, so on and so forth. Can I track food for a week and then cruise on a bulk when food is relatively the same? Yeah, I mean, as long as you know you're gaining weight and you're eating about the same thing, you still have to weigh yourself on the scale to make sure you're not off track, though. Have you heard anything about some women lacking energy due to iron deficiency? Iron deficiency is common in vegans and vegetarians, I believe. And women that don't eat enough meat probably experience it as well. So I haven't heard specifically no, but I can see where it would be an issue. I'm about to finish a program I found online, and I kind of want to get into powerlifting. Is there any program you recommend? The upper posterior is a good structure to start with. I also have a program called the 5x5. I have a 5x5 program. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. 5x5, massive iron. The 5x5 massive iron 5x5 power building program. Good, solid choice. And that's one option. I mean, there's a lot of good options in the massive iron world. So, it's hard to say. You want to get into powerlifting, you need a good base building program. I would start with like the upper posterior. And with the upper posterior, you can flesh it out the way you want. I need to know more, like, are you able to train 4 days a week? But if you are, the upper posterior allows you to train bench a couple days a week or bench variations a couple days a week, still get in your squats and deadlifts, etc. Do you mean 10-pound cut halfway through? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm not trying to create a rule for you, but you could create a 10-pound cut or a 10-pound cut, or you could do a 10-pound cut half the way through or at the end. Matt, thanks for all the responses. Good to see you still training hard in your 50s. Thank you, sir, and keep after it. All right, guys, that is it. We are done. We are out of here. Thank you for tuning in to Massive Iron Live. Please come back next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Always here for your questions. And if you have any questions during the week, head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman. Sign in my DM, and I'd be glad to help. All right, guys, see you next week, and we are out of here.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.